Welcome to today's Seidokan Saturday. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. This is typically what I do to start my Saturday mornings in the dojo. Some of this I'll break it up during the week where I'm doing different things regarding Hojo Undo and different kinds of conditioning, as well as practicing kata and so forth. But I'm just going to actually do what I typically do. The numbers of strikes that I will do, I'll be doing the iron palm, makiwara, and the wooden dummy blocking drills that I do to just kind of start my day before I go into things like bag work and kata on my Saturday mornings. So Saturdays I don't actually have class that I teach. Sometimes students will come and just use open floor time. That's become more rare lately. So I pretty much have the place to myself, and I come into the dojo and do my own individual training. During the week, I'll break it up. I might focus primarily on kata, a particular kata. I might focus on drills if I have a partner, bag work, makiwara, break up the iron palm, working with weapons. Sometimes I'll just do basics like 100 sai flips or tonfa figure eights, whatever. Different things during the week and on Saturdays, but this is typically how I start my Saturday morning. I use my tita jiao. I have various brews, not B-R-E-W-S, not B-R-U-I-S-E, although the brews help prevent the bruise. So that kind of goes together. This is a tita jiao, or sometimes called iron striking wine. Basically creates with the alcohol and the Chinese herbs. Now I have various concoctions. I actually made one using raw tobacco and soaked that in vodka, mulched it and soaked it in vodka. Raw tobacco, if you don't know, is used to heal bruises on cattle, and actually very effective. And then the alcohol of the vodka acts as a penetrating agent to sink it into the skin a little bit, get a little bit of subdermal penetration. So I have a couple of vials that the Shaolin monks gifted me. I've got jars of herbs soaking right now. I've got two quart jars of herbs soaking right now in a cool spot of Chinese herbs that I purchased in Chinatown direct from the pharmacist. There are recipes, herbal equivalents, so I put that on first before I do my striking. There are a variety of breathing drills that you can go through. I have that on my makiwara and iron palm instructional videos elsewhere on my Kinko Shinkai channel, which is Kinko Shinkai, my other YouTube channel. So sometimes I'll do 100, sometimes 25. I'm just going to kind of do a shortened version since I already did some this morning. But this is my standard Saturday iron palm, makiwara, mukjang, wooden dummy blocking practices. I finish my right hand first, then I move to the left. So that's just 25 of each. Back through the 90s, all the way up through early 2000s for 10, 15 years, I would typically do 100 of each of the strikes, and then 100 punches on makiwara, 100 kicks. It was upward of 5,000 strikes per day on a regular ongoing basis. Now I'm just kind of doing maintenance, so I've lowered the number. The key that I'm trying to focus on is let gravity pull down, not put muscular effort into the strike, but let it just land relaxed from the gravity. That prevents shock going up through the joints and return tension into the body, which is what we're trying to avoid. We want to hit in a nice relaxed fashion. So again, anywhere between 25, 50, sometimes up to 100, depending on where I am in my maintenance level doing these things. Now, additionally, on occasion, just for variety, you can combine and switch hands, and you can start using motion and so forth, but that's just a standard basic fundamental at the iron palm. From there, I'll move back to one of my several makiwara that I've put up. This is the new one that I did, my little wall mount version. I also have steel BBs, steel shot in the bag above, so should I want to work combinations and that sort of thing. But primarily it's just working my basic repetitive punch, and again, anywhere from 25 to 50, depending on what I'm feeling and what else I have planned for that day. And sometimes it's fun to just see how hard you can go and hit, but mostly it's about creating a good structural support so that my alignment from my back heel up through my punching hand are straight. And I'm just doing basic gyakuski right now. I'll do a couple combinations in a minute. Trying to get proper hip rotation, not really driving through a whole lot. Keeping the elbow down, trying to make good contact again structurally from my heel up through, creating as much of a line as possible. When most non-trained people fight, they don't punch, they swing. Okay, that's the brawler swing. But a straight punch is much less detectable to the eye if you ever take your finger and go like this. So creating a nice straight punch, keeping the elbow in and down so my body's protected, plus then getting my wrist nice and firm at impact, not letting the elbow rotate out so I have energy leaking, that kind of thing. Combination wise, I might work a finger jab, same thing, and various combinations then, but mostly just then the basic on the makiwara. And the last thing I will do is come over to my wooden man guy, and there are a variety of basic blocking motions. One of them we do is the kote kitai, the arm conditioning, which really isn't for arm conditioning, it's for fighting practice maneuvers. So there are a variety of motions to use here. I start with single hand, but at this point I want both hands engaged. So the version that I do now is a little bit more complex, relying on both hands moving at the same time. So I'll just go through that. I usually do 10 on each side, 2 different versions, total of, 40 times 3 arms that I'm hitting, so 120 strikes with the 4 arms, something like that. So you can see I've switched. So I start, the first one comes in, up and down, using the parrying hand on top, keeping the guard in place on the first one. On the second one, it comes blocking here, which is our universal block position. The hard strike here, the soft one on the bottom, then down and up. So instead of low, low, now it's high, low, high, and then repeat on each side. That's it. That's my basic Saturday morning routine. Specifics I may vary. I'll then do portions of other techniques on the mukjong. I will also add a video here shortly of one of my students working our double circling soft blocks with cat stance here. So you'll see kind of what I start teaching at Blue Belt with the two-handed blocking mechanisms. That's it for today's Seidokan Saturday. Just kind of a casual morning for me. Just give you a small glimpse. Next, I'm going to work on the bag and do some kata, and that'll be my Saturday training for today. As always, thank you for joining. Next week, we begin with requirements for niran, specifically that I require, and how some of that evolution happens in terms of time and grade and so forth. What, besides just being a black belt for a certain period, what are you actually learning? So we'll approach that next week. Until next week, thank you as always. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and most importantly, let's keep training.